2 elite units, 1 target, 1 night in Afghanistan. The SAS had coordinates, a location, an objective. The KSK had the same coordinates, the same location, the same objective. No one told them they were both assigned to the same target. By the time they realized it, they were already moving. The radio frequencies were overloaded, the communication was breaking down, and somewhere in the darkness between their 2 insertion points, 2 of the world's most professional special operations units were about to collide. This is what happened when the British and German commands made a mistake that nearly cost both teams everything. Not because they failed, because they didn't know they had to coordinate. The target was a Taliban logistics coordinator named Karimi. He ran supply lines, weapons, money, the kind of infrastructure that keeps insurgent operations alive. NATO had been tracking him for 6 weeks. The intelligence was solid. The opportunity was rare. The SAS had the lead on the operation, their intel, their target, their command structure. They planned a straightforward assault, fast, precise, in and out in under 8 minutes. The KSK was supposed to be backup, outer security, perimeter control. That was the original plan. But then the intelligence shifted. New reporting came in. Karimi had moved. The location changed. The coordinates changed. The SAS immediately adjusted. That's what the SAS does. They updated their operational parameters. They briefed their team. They were ready to move. What nobody realized, nobody in command, nobody coordinating the larger operation, was that the KSK had already been tasked with the same target, same coordinates, different source, different command chain. Joint operations, multiple countries, multiple command structures. Sometimes the intelligence doesn't flow between them perfectly. Sometimes it doesn't flow at all. The KSK was preparing for a secondary compound raid, backup to a larger operation, but the intelligence they'd received pointed to the same building, same Taliban commander, same night. 2 teams, same objective, different briefings, no coordination. By 0300 hours, both units were staged, both were ready, both had no idea the other was coming. The SAS began their insertion at 0305. Fast ropes from the helicopter, they were moving to the compound. Professional, controlled, exactly as planned. The first indication something was wrong came through the radio. Contact, north perimeter, armed figures moving toward the compound. Not defending the compound, moving toward it. The SAS commander paused. That wasn't in the intelligence. Nobody was supposed to be approaching from the north. The terrain didn't support it. The tactical picture didn't match. He keyed the radio. Identify those forces. Silence. Then, unknown. They're moving fast. No response to challenge. The KSK was moving. They weren't attacking the SAS. They didn't know the SAS were there. They were just moving toward their objective, the same objective, unaware that another team was already committed. Hold position, the SAS commander transmitted. Do not engage. Unknown forces may be friendlies. Inside the compound, the radio traffic was getting confused. The KSK commander had heard SAS call signs on the frequency. He knew British forces were in the area, but he didn't know they were his target area. His operational briefing was compartmentalized for security reasons, standard procedure. But now standard procedure was a problem. His teams were moving fast. The window was closing. Karimi could flee if they waited too long. Every second of hesitation meant losing the target. The SAS commander understood the same math. The window was closing. The target was in the building. The opportunity was right now. 2 teams, same building, different entries, neither able to fully coordinate with the other. The SAS commander made a decision. Change of plan. KSK is moving into the north sector. We adjust, we take the eastern entry. We maintain separation. Move. It was the fastest adaptation his unit had trained for. But adapted plans, improvised coordination, that's where mistakes happen. 3:10 a.m. The breach started. SAS on the east, KSK on the north, neither fully aware of the other's exact position. The radio was now critical. Each team calling in targets, each team updating position, each team trying not to shoot at the other. "Contact, East Corridor, 2 armed fighters," the SAS breacher called. "Neutralizing," came the response. 2 seconds later, "Contact, North Side, 2 armed." "KSK engaged," came through the frequency. The problem started then. The fighters that the KSK engaged weren't compound defenders. One was, the other was Taliban. But the other was moving away from Karimi, moving toward the SAS position without knowing it. The KSK didn't have time to process this. They were moving, fast, committed. The SAS team in the East Corridor heard the gunfire from the north. They understood what it meant. KSK was clearing from that direction. They adjusted. They moved deeper into the compound. That's when the SAS breacher found Karimi. He was already moving. He'd heard the gunfire. He understood what it meant. He was trying to exit through a back corridor. Karimi acquired, moving East Corridor towards secondary exit. But the secondary exit was where the KSK was now clearing from. The timing was impossible. "Slow down," the KSK commander called through the radio. "We're moving east to west. You're coming west to east." "We have visual on target," the SAS commander responded. "He's moving your direction fast." Everything was happening at acceleration. The SAS team was moving at speed. Karimi was ahead of them, and the KSK was coming from the opposite direction. This is the moment. This is where it could have ended badly. The SAS commander and KSK commander were both on the same frequency, both hearing the same radio traffic, both realizing in real time that they were seconds away from a collision. "Contact coming your direction," SAS transmitted. "Roger, we see him," KSK came back. 2 seconds of silence. Then, "We have him, standing down East Corridor." They didn't shoot. The KSK saw the figure moving toward them. They recognized the tactical profile. Armed, moving fast, this was their target. But they also heard, through the radio, that the SAS was right behind. The KSK commander made the call. "Containment only. Don't fire. We control the target. SAS, maintain distance. This is KSK's sector now." 3 words changed everything. This is ours. Not aggressive, not territorial, just clarity. Just a commander taking control of the chaotic moment. The SAS acknowledged, instantly, professionally. "Roger, you have the target. We stand down East Corridor." And the KSK secured Karimi. The extraction took 90 seconds. Both units maintained radio discipline. Both understood what had just happened. 2 elite teams assigned to the same target had nearly ended in a tactical disaster. Instead, they'd adapted in real time. Karimi was secured. Both teams moved to the extraction point. The helicopters came in. The operation was over. But the conversation afterward was what mattered. In the debrief room, the SAS commander and KSK commander sat across from each other. No one was angry. No one was looking for fault. They both understood they'd been put in an impossible situation by their respective command structures. The SAS commander spoke first. "Your team moved fast. I didn't expect that." The KSK commander nodded. "Neither did your command structure, apparently." A pause. Not uncomfortable, just understanding. "If you hadn't called it," the SAS commander said, "we would have had seconds before collision. You made the right call." The KSK commander understood what was being said. This wasn't just about the operation. This was about respect. About acknowledging that in the chaos, when communication had failed and coordination had broken down, the Germans thought clearly. They'd seen the problem. They'd solved it. "Your team adapted fast too," the German commander replied. "You could have pushed. You didn't." That was the story neither of them would tell their command. That in the darkness of Afghanistan, 2 elite units had nearly collided, recognized the danger in real time, and chose professionalism over pride. This incident never made official reports. Not because it was hidden, because it was understood as a lesson in joint operations. A moment when communication failed, but professionalism prevailed. The SAS learned something that night. The KSK wasn't a unit that followed, they led. They thought, they adapted, and when the moment required them to take control, they took it, without aggression, without ego, just clarity. The KSK learned something too. The SAS might be the standard, but they weren't rigid. When they recognized a better solution, they deferred to it. This is what Tier 1 really means. Not winning, not dominating. Making the right choice when everything is breaking down. By 2010, the SAS was requesting KSK operators for their most sensitive joint operations. Not because they'd won a competition, because they'd proven something in Afghanistan that night. They could think under pressure, they could adapt when plans failed, and they could be trusted when everything was chaos. One night, 2 units, 1 target. What happened was more valuable than any intelligence they gathered. It was the moment when 2 of Europe's greatest special forces units recognized each other as equals. Subscribe for more stories from inside the Tier 1 world. These are the ones that matter. The ones where respect is earned not through dominance, but through professionalism when everything breaks down.